So, Ms. Kendricks, how long have you been with the School of Engineering?
I have been here almost 10 years now.
Okay. And what's the average pay grade of someone getting their first job upon graduation from the school?
That is a very wide-ranging answer to give you. And there are a lot of factors that I could tell you, but just to answer you directly, somewhere between $35,000 and $95,000.
Okay. Wow, that's
quite a range.
That's a pretty good starting pay grade.
Yes, it really is. But there are people who choose to do international. They want to go immediately to Dubai, into the oil and gas market. There are others that say, really want to stay closer to home. Maybe I'll work for, local agency, government,
Right.
highway department, maybe environmental protection, Corps of Engineers. Those are great. Some state and some federal level. Those are very predictable pay grades. Others choose to go into manufacturing or consulting or, some entrepreneurial effort. So the range of job, opportunities and pay rate is just vastly, In
Diverse.
engineering, I would say that it's pretty even. I would have to say it really is, and here's why. In order for a graduate to have the opportunity to go into engineering as a full-time profession, most organizations require full-time efforts. They want somebody that's available to start and work a full business week and to be there. Even if you want to earn your professional engineer's license, you have to work full-time for 4 years before you can even have that opportunity. So I think sometimes women, because of the fact that, they're maybe more interested in balancing a home life, family life, and work life, sometimes they choose to do career paths that allow them to do part-time work or a lesser commitment, to travel and to doing all those things. In engineering, if you're going to do it, it requires a full commitment. So
Right.
that's why I think that a lot of times I can safely say it's a little bit more fair playing field as far as income. Now, that's not always fair to the families, but pay rate, if that's the question, that is what it is. So yeah, I'd say that if we're at the 21% mark now, that's the first time in the history of the school. We fought for a long time, not fought, that's a hard word, but we never seem to have been able to get over the 20% mark until the last year or so.
Okay.
And of women in engineering, in the School of Engineering.
Actively,
Ole Miss.
maybe.
Somewhat. I mean, we just do general recruiting and see who comes, But there is a Society of Women Engineers chapter at Ole Miss, and they sponsor an event one day a year called Introduce a Girl to Engineering Day. It's a national, day on the calendar, but it is, an opportunity to invite high school girls to come, spend a day on campus with college girls, go to class, see what it's like, and just think about maybe this could be a fun career for me. Because a lot of high schools that don't have some sort of an introduction to engineering class or some opportunity to think about it, there are many students who graduate who have strength in math and science but have never really given this any thought.
Right.
So we reach out in a lot of ways, to just the general population of students at the secondary school level and say, hey, have you ever thought about this? If you like physics and if you like chemistry and you're pretty good at math,
Well, I mean, I'm
sure
Right.
around the world we could find examples. Our Engineers Without Borders chapter just got back from Togo, Africa, a month ago,
Oh,
and
wow.
Definitely not equality there. The women carry the water and the babies, and the men are basically in charge, and that's fine. That's common in a lot of cultures. So depending on where you drop your dart on the map, as to how to answer that question.
Right.
I would say probably in manufacturing and in consulting and in government industry where there is an engineering presence, it's probably the same ratio of no more than 20% females in the workplace. So, I mean, equality would probably match the graduating class. There are not as many women to hire,
Right.
So the ones who graduate and want to work full-time, certainly have opportunities and probably have a minority presence wherever they go.
Okay.
Specifically why there might be more men and attracted to engineering, my first answer would be, well, traditionally, but that's not really a solid answer, the traditional part. I mean, civil engineering being probably the oldest form of engineering was rooted in more building, construction, infrastructure development. And some of that involved the design, but also the build, and being a big, strong individual to move rocks and to take care of, cutting through mountains to make a tunnel. It's kind of dirty, hard work, and it would lend itself more to a masculine workforce naturally. But I would say what has more traditionally given way from tradition to just interest in engineering, because we don't typically have to go and get very boots on the ground dirty in our jobs now. There are plenty of opportunities to do engineering work fully behind a desk or in a computer if that's what you want. Do your design work that way. But still, men have dominated the field, and maybe it's to some extent because staying focused on one task for a very long time, maybe even a design that you have to see all the way through from beginning to end, check all your calculations repeatedly over and over and verify, and do all the problem solving scenarios of what if and could this fail and could that be a problem. Women have the ability, I believe, to multitask very well, and men have the ability to compartmentalize very well, and that's just my own observation. Yeah. But I'm an engineer, but I'm also a female, and I can juggle a lot of things at once. But when I really need to stay on task with something, that requires a little bit more self-discipline to not get distracted with a whole lot of other matters.
Yeah.
So I think that sometimes that's a natural tendency of one type of brain versus another. 100-year history of this school, it'll take a long time before it's really balanced. And I don't know if that's even a necessary goal of the school. We want to provide opportunities for anybody that wants to do engineering, that's willing to work hard and has the ability to learn some tough material and to put it in practice and to practice with integrity and carry on the engineering tradition, the engineering protocol for various developments in all different places in society. So it's certainly an open door for women, minorities, various types of people and from various interests. Well, sometimes projects that involve taking the engineer away for a period of time to an offshore platform, to the Middle East, some military infrastructure design project, some situation where the engineer has to be in the field for an extended period of time. I don't know that that's ever going to be attractive, to women.
Yeah.
I mean, not typically. At least the ones who, like me, want to have a balance in their lives. I'm not sure that the description I just gave you is attractive to anybody. But what I mean more specifically is for the engineer, the female engineer who does wish to have family and roots and a place to call home as well as a place to call work. There's this sort of everybody has to draw a line as to where they're comfortable.
Right.
But as far as the ability to go and do and build a pipeline through Alaska or whatever somebody might want to try to go and do, I don't think there's any limitation on what one who wants to do that could go and do. Certainly, a lot of design work is done from a distance. A lot of it is done in the field. As we go, design and build and correct and fix and. But still, it's a personal choice about how you want to invest your time in your life and your career and where you want to be. And in what culture and in what circumstances and how far away from home or how much, discomfort you're willing to go through or, like I described in Africa, if you wanted to take up shop there and set up an engineering firm as a female, that's fine, but you'd be the only one.
Right.
And so it would be maybe a challenge and really attractive to some, and for others they would say, it's not going to provide me the job satisfaction that I really want. Just to do something different for the sake of being different.
Right.
So, but I truly can say there are no obstacles, there are no roadblocks that are set up, or that, sometimes they occur naturally, but that would prevent any ambitious young lady from trying to pursue any discipline of engineering, civil, electrical, chemical, geological, mechanical, computer science, any discipline they want to go into. Or any career. There's nothing that says, you're only qualified if you are a 6-foot-tall man, or whatever. There's really, I think that we would find exceptions in just about everywhere we go, even when you say this is primarily a male-dominated organization, operation, or study. And there have been some remarkable women that have come through this program that I've gotten to know in the last 10 years. Surprisingly, too, over the last 5 years, the number of our Taylor medalists and highest achievers in a school where the majority are male, 80%, but of the graduating class who name and claim those honors, we have a much higher population of women.
Really?
Taking those honors, yes. So you can look back at the statistics of the last few years of graduate classes and see that, especially at the top of those charts, the student body president has been a female student many times over. And then, it's almost like the ones who want to do this say, I want to do it and I want to do it really well. I
Right.
want to do something different and I want to be the best at it.
Yeah.
So, and they do have a very nice camaraderie among, smaller groups within the school. Study groups, like I've mentioned, the Society of Women Engineers, but they're not exclusive. I mean, even men can join that. And very often I look around and see our most effective teams, students that do projects together and work together and study together, and they're usually just simply not a mixture by gender, but of just the most motivated, in the class.
Right.
And so the highest achievers kind of gravitate toward each other.
Yeah.
But there are women in those groups just as
Right.
much as some really high achieving men. But it's great to see.